I had to cut it back on. The studio get a little hot when it be running out of, you know, little stuff like that. My phone gonna blow up if I put one more app on here, all kind of stuff. So I'm trying to keep it cool, but I'm just gonna ride out with this EDU, and we're gonna take a quick break, play the last song. When we come back, you know what I'm saying, we gonna do the quote for the day, and we gonna be on up out of here. So yeah, just follow along. You see that next link, just click on it. You can get right in the chat room right now. I'm sure available. Just send a welcome to you. That's what's up. Shout out to Martina. You know what I'm saying? She just got on in the building. Trying to get through on Facebook. That's exactly where you in the right spot. If you can hear me, you in the right spot. I ain't going to tag nobody. Everybody got a tag. So if they see that post on Facebook, it's right there for you. Just click on it. You know what I'm saying? Feel free to jump in the chat room real quick because we still got a few minutes to go. So, yep. So we talked about the 6 signs, the quick to be angry, I'm right, you're wrong phase, the concerns that you have criticizes them, the rules don't apply to them, it's all about them, and unlateral listening. It should be unlateral thinking because you can't listen unless you're thinking. All right, so you're supposed to score yourself first, and then go back in your leisure time and score the person that this applies to in your life. So I'm just going to continue reading on. So it says, scores of 10 or less indicates healthy to average range. Too much narcissism in your habits would be indicated by a total score higher than 10. Pay attention to your narcissism life, and you may fairly easily be able to lower that score considerably. A total score of 18 or higher spells significant narcissistic habits that probably do not serve you well. Time to make some serious habit changes. A score of 24 or higher will indicate serious problems with narcissism. Hopefully you will commit yourself to some serious personal growth. Note that these score interpretations are based on general patterns, not an experimentally validated scoring system. They are meant as a personal heads up, not a clinical diagnosis. How about you? Do people tell you that you seem to take up all the space in the room because conversations with you so frequently taking it's all about me turn? What others express feelings and concerns is your reaction, well, what about me? Do your monologue or personificate assuming that you know best instead of sharing equal airtime and valuing others' inputs? These habits are all narcissistic indicators. How well or poorly a person listens is a primary indicator of narcissism. Someone who looks to understand what's interesting in what others say, what makes sense about it, is probably reasonably emotionally healthy. Disparaging or ignoring others' inputs suggests narcissistic patterns. Similarly, being all about others can be problematic. Excessive altruism invites codependency and enabling behaviors. The bottom line is that healthy folks in healthy relationships are able to listen responsively to their own concerns and also to others. They are able to be self-centered in the best sense, taking care of themselves, and also altruistic, taking heed of others' desires. I refer to the ability to hear both oneself and others as bilateral, two-sided listening. I keep saying thinking. When differences arise, folks who do bilateral listening are pros at taking onto consideration both their concerns and others. Ability to do bilateral listening enables creation of win-win solutions, sustaining ongoing goodwill in their relationships. For instance, if you're tired, you will listen to that feeling and head for bed. At the same time, if you had just received a call from a friend who has a problem and urgently wants to talk with you, you might suggest that the two of you talk at least for a few minutes now and plan to talk more at length in the morning. This could be a win-win solution. By contrast, if you tend toward narcissism, you might respond with the immediate no, I'm too tired to your friend's request. Narcissistic listening is one-sided listening. What I want, think, or feel is all that matters. What you want, think, or feel does not register as information worth attending to. Narcissistic folks can be generous. Narcissistic folks actually are often very generous. They may, for instance, give away large sums of money to charity. Generous giving makes the giver feel good and also feels appropriate, like the right thing to do. They may well therefore pride themselves on their compassion and altruism. At the same time, in a situation in which someone who tends toward narcissism wants something, and that desire is in conflict with what someone else wants, that's when the selfish side takes over. Often, narcissistic individuals can show compassion and generosity toward strangers, yet not to the people they are supposed to love. In part, that may stem from narcissistic tendencies to judge everyone as either higher or lower than themselves. Family members may be treated as lowly, while outsiders or those with high status, for instance, from power or wealth, get treated with respect. What are your options if you are uncomfortable with your score? The bottom line is that narcissism is basically habit patterns, and habits can be changed. Awareness of your narcissistic tendencies is a strong first step that can empower you to notice and fix slippages. Learning skills for becoming a better listener can be an important next step. You also might want to check out my blog post on overcoming narcissism and borderline personality habits. What if you are using this checklist to score how narcissistic someone you know may be? If someone you interact with regularly shows narcissistic patterns, it's not up to you to change them. Better for you to focus on how you yourself can change the dance you do with that person. For instance, you can choose that you will no longer let yourself be intimidated or controlled by fear of anger. Just gracefully leave the situation for a cool down period. I need to get a drink of water, and then return for a calmer second go at the conversation. Just about everyone becomes increasingly narcissistic with anger. Anger promotes the sense that what I want is holy and what you want is irrelevant. That's why it's so vital that in important conversations, you stay calm. Talking about sensitive issues in calm, good-humored ways without arguing has the highest odds of leading to mutual understandings. The bottom line about narcissism? For a happier life and more gratifying relationships, especially if your score has indicated some narcissistic tendencies, tame these trends with better skills. Though some folks are more prone to narcissism than others, narcissism generally is not a fixed phenomenon like height or eye color. Rather, much of the time, narcissism is a skills deficit. Upgrading your listening and shared decision-making skills can make a huge difference. Note, one of my earlier posts has further suggestions for how to grow out of narcissistic habit patterns. For therapists, I recently gave this webinar on treatment techniques for intervening with narcissistic habits. So you can check out Susan Hetler, PhD. She's a clinical psychologist. And you can check out her book, Prescriptions Without Pills, for relief from depression, anger, anxiety, and more. And I'll just say, on that note, that is our EDU for our lives. And when we come back, we'll be on the quote for the day and we'll be out of here. So stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Don't go nowhere. 1. hate your love. I could hate your love. I could hate your game. I could hate your love. 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 I could hate your game. I could hate your love. 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 I could hate your game. Hate your love. Hate your love. Hate your gang. Hate your love.
Say hate your love.
In case you missed it, on that note, quote for the day. Mark Page at Mark Page says, the state says that citizens may not take from another by force and against his will that which belongs to another, and yet the state does just that. Murray Rothbard. Bob Berg says, positive expectation when dealing with others works, but there's absolutely nothing mystical or magical about it. It's actually quite rational. Expecting someone to be kind or helpful doesn't change them. It changes you. And that is what changes them. That's awesome, Bob. I like that. Orrin Woodward at Orrin Woodward says, big mouths and small brains make the strangest noises. Yeah, that was funny. Orrin Woodward at Orrin Woodward says, a person either disciplines his finances or his finances disciplines him. Hashtag financial freedom. Brian Fascia says, 3 key components to being successful in anything. 1, the thoughts we think. 2, the images we visualize. 3, the actions we take. At Orrin Woodward, hashtag TLYAW, hashtag TPOC. Orrin Woodward at Orrin Woodward says, never let what you don't know stop you from doing what you do know. Hashtag TLYAW, hashtag 1,000,000 green boxes, hashtag financial freedom. And that is our EDU for our lives. So that's really all I had to say. Good afternoon, morning, and evening. And I will see you soon. Peace.
We are now transferring you to a customer care rep. Please hold the line and we will answer your call as soon as possible. Thank you for choosing us. By the way, to ensure you're getting great service, your call may be recorded or monitored.